So we'll just.
Oh,
Hi, everybody. My name is Angela O'Neill, and I'm one of the producers with Bill Bodine of a record that's coming out May 1st, May Day, um, called Legacy. Let's see. Happen to have one right here. Our friend Paul Litteral is a trumpet player. Has had an amazing career playing trumpet with the Rolling Stones, with Jay Giles. He played out of New York with the Uptown Horns for many, many years as a session player. And we're lucky enough to have made this record with him. And my friend Kathryn is with me. Hi, Kathryn. Thank you so much for joining me.
hi, how you going? Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate you. And you are part of the crucial um, part of Team Outrageous 8, as you are have been the marketing manager for the Outrageous 8 8-piece band since kind of the beginning of the band. And
Mm.
we've so appreciated all the creative energy that you've put into the band. Also have sung with the band, been part of the singing team, and over the years it's just been amazing. We thank you so much for everything you do. Um, and so on this record, we kind of stepped out of just kind of recording for our band, and our trumpet player, who's in the Outrageous 8, Paul, came to me right after COVID was starting to kind of open up and said, "Would you be interested in doing a record, a solo record?" And I was, that's a good idea. He's just played with so many different kinds of people in different settings, um, Billy Joel, David Sanborn. His CV is pretty impressive and many pages long. Too long to go into, but suffice to say, he's played with a lot of different types of music and a lot of different kinds of sessions and a lot of different kinds of bands. So part of the fun of this record is that it is his legacy. Kind of a little smattering of each of the styles that kind of earmarked his long career as a trumpet player. Um, so when we started talking about marketing this record, you had some amazing suggestions, and you recently just did a commercial that I just put up on Instagram today, actually. Do you have fun when you put those commercials and stuff together?
Yeah, I mean marketing has so many different aspects to it. Um, and although those little promo clips and voiceovers and everything, because we've done them on a few different projects now, for your various projects and stuff. But that one for Paul's album for Legacy, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I love doing them. It's great fun. Yeah, so that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think people are curious too. Like we were talking just before we started talking here. I think people are curious in this day and age when everyone, for the most part, a greater degree of people stream music, maybe aren't cognizant of the process that it kind of goes through to put together a musical project these days. Especially since, back in the day, we would go out and buy a record or buy a cassette or something, and that money would actually fund the next project, the next recording process. Now, not very many people actually buy music. And so it's an interesting kind of quandary because we still want to make fresh music for everybody, but there's really no way to get a revenue stream. One of the ways
Yeah.
that you have helped is by also being our IT person, a completely different hat. Um, Tell us about the process. So once Paul and Bill and I finish the record, I start to send you the files, and then you take over a really interesting part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, that it's quite a big topic for a lot of musicians nowadays, of course, because, and we were just talking about that the other day, how they really killed music, with the 80s and electronic music coming out and all that sort of thing, and vinyl albums and then CDs, and then we've kind of moved away from that now, and the streaming and everything, and just how little the artists and the producers actually make from that now. So that's the challenge is, for musicians is, how can they actually make some money, a living. A lot of musicians are trying to actually make a living from their music, and it's harder and harder these days. So yeah, so the process, once we get the files, I mean, you do all the magic with the getting the recording done, and there's that whole side to which which is time consuming in itself. The picking, what songs you're going to do, and the whole shape of the album and everything. And so you do all of that part, and then you finally got the recordings, and then that's like a major milestone. Yes, we've got the recordings. We're sending you the files. So then there's before we do anything, then there's the licensing that you take care of for each of the songs, and there's all the different kinds of licensing that you can have now, and way more than it used to be. Now it's you try to put your own music on a platform, and it says copyright or something. It's like, hey, that's my music, But anyway, so there's the licensing side. Then there's the the ISRC numbers, those individual numbers for each of the songs, and they get embedded into the music files before you actually send them to me. So once I've got all of that, then it's a matter of uploading everything to whatever platform it is that we're using, and we have one that we use, one of a few, uploading everything to CD Baby, which is what we use.
Right. And CD Baby, just so everybody knows, that actually requires ISRC numbers, right? And publishing information. So you have to have that pretty well organized, as you say,
right.
kind of before
which
you go.
Yeah, exactly. So once I've got the audio files, then you go up to to do the whole album and in its entirety. So it's all of that. So then you need the artwork, and it has to be to specific, they've got their real specifications on that. And we know how strict they can be too.
Yeah.
Got to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. So there's the artwork. Then there's each track name. Then you have to go in and put the publisher of each track, and who wrote the lyrics and who wrote the music. If it's a vocal. And the publishing company for each individual track. So there's that research that has to be done on that as well. And then you can go in and you can have the option to do kind of sounds like, which helps them when they distribute the album, especially on streaming platforms. So people that have playlists and things like that, and the AI and the algorithms are saying, well, you like all of this music, so you'll probably like this one too.
Right.
Along with, a million other ones. So it helps when you do that and you say, well, it sounds like, so in this case with Paul, I might say, sounds like Chet Baker or Miles Davis,
Right.
And hopefully that's okay with him to sound, to say, put him in that genre.
Yeah.
And then you have the different genres of music as well, so that you pick from, and there could be like a main, so it might be jazz, but then there's a whole lot of different types of jazz. So you have like 3 different kind of styles of music, and each one has subcategories as well that you pick from.
Right.
So you're doing all of that. Then you have to add the ISRC numbers for each of the tracks. They will do the barcode for you at an extra little price there. If it's original music, they can collect royalties and everything as well. You just have to specify which association you're with. And then it's kind of, once you've got all of that information together, and you've done your distribution as well, and you sign off on that, and monetization, and there's different ways that you can monetize your album. For example, if someone uses it on a video that they're putting on YouTube or something as a background music, or something like that. But you do have to have at least one original song on the album to be able to monetize that way. But there's other ways.
Got it.
And you can even choose, to distribute it to places where they're not monetized. You're not getting any monetization, because you might just say, well, I just want it to get out there to as many people as possible. So you make all those decisions as you go, and then once it's finished, you submit the album for review and sign off, and hopefully everything's okay. And if it's not, they come back, and we've had a couple of times where we've had to go back and forth. But I must say, Paul's album was probably one of the best, cleanest, fastest, you
Knock
know,
on wood. I have no
right?
idea why. Now, the funny thing is, the folks might not know that Kathryn and I have actually done this on um, quite a few projects now, maybe 4 or 5. So we did Take Two, which is our alto player, and his friend Brent Butterworth did a straight ahead jazz record, which was very successful on the RMR charts. And they were mostly, with the exception of one, originals. They wrote all of the material. And so it's a different process for us. And then we've done 2 records for the Outrageous8, a Christmas album, and we've also done Light at the End of the Tunnel, and I think 2 others that we didn't distribute as heavily. And then now,
Quarantine.
yeah, mm-hmm. Live at the Mix, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have done this, and now it's that's why we're so excited that Paul's
And we even released some singles as well, so you can do
yes, one for
singles,
you. We
right?
did a record for you this year.
Yeah,
Very exciting.
and then from Paul's album as well. So the first one to release was New York Minute.
New York Minute on Light at the End of the Tunnel, and I Can't Make You Love Me on Paul's record.
That's it.
Yeah,
I Can't
yeah,
Make It Lucky. Yes.
yeah.
So it's quite good too, is to release a single and then and get some buzz happening, which we did with that one, and then the album.
Yeah, and then also the other cool thing that Kathryn actually does with the company is she pretty much handles the website entirely, which is amazing, Kathryn. Thank you so much. So the next process after, let's say, CD Baby or whoever approves everything we've submitted, then she uploads everything to our website so people can go. If the folks are kind of wondering the way it is that you can contribute to music, the one way that the artists actually get paid is if you go to their websites and you download and pay for their music.
Yes.
That
Buy
is,
the CD. Yes.
yeah, if
The
you buy a
digital
CD,
download.
or
Yeah.
even if you download because you want to stream it on your phone while you're driving or something,
Yeah.
that actually is another way to do it. So, like I say, we play out live a lot in Los Angeles. I have a lot of people come up to me and say, gosh, we'd really like to support music. We understand what's going on. How do we do that? So I just wanted to answer that question because people have asked me that question a bunch of times, but that essentially is it. Even if you are, say, like a Spotify listener, Apple Music listener, it's fantastic. But it's a different process for us financially in that we don't get paid for those. But we do get paid if you go to the website and you download the music and pay for it. So anyway, that helps people, I think, to understand. So Kathryn does all of that and the reviews.
Right. And then there's a PayPal option too. It's like,
yes,
if people just want to donate, they can. And I think we even did a GoFundMe for this album as well.
Yeah.
Right.
People were very generous. People have been and continue to be, and we thank them for being very generous to support music. And I think that people really are trying to understand how they can help people be able to continue to be creative, and we are very thankful for that. So I just wanted to make sure, because I think, Kathryn was living in Los Angeles and she actually moved back east recently. And we were like, wow, is that going to work? But actually, thanks to your IT genius, we've been able to continue to do everything that we have done up until now, which is we continue to do music videos. We did New York Minute remotely.
Right.
We finished up I Can't Make You Love Me together remotely. And we're about to start another one now for one of Harry Smollenberg's instrumentals called Now and Again, pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to help the folks try to understand what it is that we do at Outrageous8 Records and kind of what our workflow is. And I'm always so thankful to you and everything that you do with the flyers for the band, but also for the PR. I love that commercial. Like I said, it just got amazing buzz on Instagram when I just put it up this morning.
Fantastic.
So I'm thrilled. Hey, there's my protector. Come on, camera, if you're gonna bark like that. Come on now.
Exactly, right? Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to do a little interviews with people who were a part of making this project happen. It will be available. It's shiny, but look I'm opening. this brand new CD. This is very exciting for
And
those
she
of us
hasn't
that
sounded that
it
plastic
took like
wrapping.
3 years to do this right here. And there, it's a little less shiny now. This is a
And
great illustration by Ernie Gilbert of Paul playing the trumpet. Really amazing all the way through. It's kind of fun to get the CD, you guys, if you still have a CD player, because you get all of these liner notes. You get those photos of Paul. All of this stuff is so great. An explanation as to kind of why he chose the tunes that he did, like you were saying, Kathryn. And this will be available on Outrageous8.com, Outrageous8Records.com on May 1st, and worldwide release on radio. So thank you, Kathryn, for everything you've done to help us get to this point where this guy is finished, and we're really excited to share it with the world. Thank you guys very much for joining us.
thank you.
Thanks, Kathryn.